Greetings, crafty friends. Creative Juice by Lonnie, almost live with you today. This is in one of those rare occasions when I have to be at two places at the same time. So I'm actually coming to you live. And I hope that you can't hear the little feedback a little bit with our recording. But if so, just ignore that. Okay, today I wanted to show you a really quick way to make a fun frame card that is a 3D frame that your recipient will open up and just love. We're going to be using the Nests of Winter Suite most of it. And I know that this may be on back order, but it's coming soon again. And don't forget that today, October 7th, begins our stamp sale. So if you're looking for individual stamps, they're 15% off for the next 3 days only. So Winterly Treetops is the stamp set that is in the Nests of Winter suite. And we're only going to be using this little word right here. In fact, I realized I don't have, I'll cut it in just a moment. We'll cut a piece to put that word on in just a moment. And you could stamp this if you wanted to. You could stamp any of these little birds, but I'm actually going to be utilizing the beautiful Nests of Winter Designer Series paper. Here's a little sample of all of them for you. And they have some images that are able to be cut out with the dies from the bundle. So let's look at that really quick. For instance, here's one of the sheets or a piece from the sheets of paper. And look, they're just cut out with your dies. Now, having said that, I'm actually going to fussy cut some of the other images because I've seen a lot of these birds and I want to use some of the ones that don't have the dies with them. So, excuse me, my scratchy throat at the turning of the seasons as it coming up. We're going to start with a piece of 9-inch by 5.5-inch cardstock. This is shaded spruce. And we're going to do a little scoring to start with. You can do this on your Stampin' Trimmer or on the Simply Scored board. I find it's just easy on the scored board. And I have this marked still from our event, our Fall Stamp Fest. But we're not going to use those. We're going to score at 1/2 inch and 1 inch, then 4 3/4 and 5 1/4. All right, so we've got that one all scored. We want to fold it with our bone folder to give it really crisp edges. So we'll fold on all of those score lines the same direction, kind of folding it out inward. And one more. So it looks like this. You can kind of see this. Okay, so it looks kind of like a box. We're doing good. It will fold flat and go into our envelope when we are done. So let's start doing some cutting. One of the dies in the set, in the bundle, is this fun pine tree boughs. And we're going to put it in between our score lines right here. This is going to be the front of our card. And you will need the large cut and emboss machine. So we'll take that, lay everything flat, even though we've scored it and folded it. We just want it to be flat for a moment. Kind of line it up in the center in between those score lines. I'm going to run it forward and backward because it's detailed. Sometimes I just like to give it a little extra cut. Ooh, yeah, good. And then we'll come backward. Oops, sorry to bump you. Okay, set that aside. Looks like it did a little movement, but not too bad. I want to add a little extra color before I pop out the die. So I'm going to take my Mossy Meadow ink pad and a blending brush just to give it some depth and dimension and kind of give it a couple of darker or different colors of green here in a couple of spots. Just so it has a little bit of, sometimes you just need something a little different so that it really pops and looks alive. Okay, so I've done just a couple of splotches. You can see there that, but it will look beautiful when we're all done. I hope. Crafting is not an exact science. It's more of a feeling, right? Like, yeah, I think I just want that to be like that. Let's see how they look. Okay, I'm liking that. I am liking that. So we've popped the middle out. So let's grab our tear and tape. And I did say that we were doing no stamping, but we actually are going to do a little bit of stamping on our envelope. So we have our tear and tape. And by the way, I still, even though I'm not with you live, I still value your comments. So tell me what you're thinking, what you're crafting. And if you're excited about the stamp sale, which stamps are you going to add to your collection? So I flipped it over and I put a piece of tear and tape right here because I want it to go along the back. So as we fold this all together, if you fold this large piece that hasn't been die cut right here along the first score line, and then fold this one over so that you have the score line as a bump right here, it's going to be in the perfect space to make it fold flat. So here you go, and look at this. See how it just pops up and it's already got that dimension. It looks like we're looking through the forest to find some birds. I can see a few pieces I need to punch out still. We'll get all those little details out of our card. Should have done that beforehand. It's okay. No mistakes in stamping, just opportunities to fix it for embellishment. Okay, take all those little. So our basic card is finished. Now, where would we write on this? We would actually write on the back. Let's get a little piece of white. You'll want this to be about 5 1/4 by 3 1/2 for the back of your card, the place that you will write. So I'm going to cut this down to 3 1/2. I have it at 5 1/4. See how that will fit just nicely. If you want to do any stamping, now is the time to do that. Let's see if we've got something in our stamp set. What did I do with it? Well, we know it can't be far. It's probably under my stack over here. Indeed. It says, a friend like you brings me happiness. So maybe we'll stamp on here, thinking of you always. And maybe this little bird. Let's do it. It's a good time to get some extra stamping in. Okay, we're going to stay thinking of you always in our shaded spruce. And let's do the bird in a gray. Pardon me for grabbing my ink pads here. I guess it's not pardon me. Thank you for waiting while in fact, let's put this down here. Let's put the bird on first, and then we'll know where to put our words. This little bird on a branch. We're going to do him just kind of off the edge here a little bit. And then our words in green, and we'll put it down here. Thinking of you always. Perfect. I'm going to save those over here for just a moment because we'll do a little bit of that in a second. Let's glue this to the back. Yes, I am reusing something. Part of my, oh good, I got some ink on me. That's all right. We'll just write right over the top of it. If I can get it in on evenly, I think that looks better. So there's the part you would write on. Here's the front of your card. Easy peasy. Let's stamp our envelope while we've got it out here, and the same, we'll use the same, or you could use the different birds if you want to. We'll do that little bird right there just so the envelope is coordinating. Okay. Finally, what I've done is I cut a 3.5, another piece that is 3.5 by, well, it should be 5 1/4. Let's try. It doesn't matter if it's 5.5. I think it's okay because it's just going to go right into this card. So it's okay. 5.5 by 3.5. I think. Let me make sure. Nope, 3 3/4. There you go. 3 3. I'll get the right measurements if you stick with me long enough. This is just looks like we're looking into this forest of aspen trees, and we want it to look like it's we're looking through this forest, doing a little bit of bird watching. So before I did that, before I put it in there, I've taken some of these little birdies right here on this piece of paper, a different beautiful design in the Nests of Winter Designer Series paper pack. And this is a kind of a fun opportunity. This one was on the edge of the paper, but we're not going to need the end of her tail, so I cut her out, fussy cut her out with my scissors, and we're going to put some dimensionals on the back of both of these birds. So use up all of your edges because we really do want it to have that 3-dimensional look coming through the forest. So I'm putting some of my little pieces. Did you know that your dimensionals can just be ripped into little, you don't even have to cut them, you can just rip them. Makes it super fast and easy. So I think I've got enough. Now I want to know, before I put them onto the paper, I do want to know where this paper is going to, where I want them inside my card. So let's go ahead and put this inside. Got my adhesive on it, put it in at the top so that it doesn't grab the back when you don't want to. And then we'll just kind of move it to the back of our card and fold it and push it flat. There, so now our birds are flying through the forest back there, and then the ones that are close to us we'll be able to see. So let's take the backing. I also have to think about where I want my sentiment to go, and I think I want it to go at the bottom. So we're going to put this guy up here at the top where we can kind of see him, just a little peek of him. Remember, I don't have to see his tail right there, so it's just perfect. There he is, coming through the forest. Like we're sitting in the tree with them. And then this little guy, I'm going to put him right here. Okay, so there's our 2 little birds in the forest. Let's do our last little piece, and that's the thinking. Actually, this one says, "A friend like you brings me happiness." This is where I need a piece that I haven't cut yet, another piece that I haven't cut yet, rather. So let's find the right. All right. Oh, I had that piece that I just used. Well, we'll use this one. This is perfect. We're going to stamp and emboss, "A friend like you brings me happiness." Now we could do this on white, or we could do this on green. I'm kind of looking to see which one I may want, or gray. Maybe I'll do it on a gray and just color and stamp it in green instead of embossing it. Great idea. Let's use smoky slate. I like that. Here's Smoky Slate, and we're just going to stamp it in that same shaded spruce. We could also die cut this if we wanted to. But I think it's just going to be perfect like that, unless you guys get my, you get to see behind the scenes of how I sometimes make some decisions because I'm like, how do I want this to look? That's not what I was looking for. I was looking for a die. No, we're just going to keep it like this. So we want to cut this down to 3 3/4 of an inch, which is the width of our card once it's open. So we'll leave a little bit on that side, and then turn it around and hope that 3 3/4. Of course, you might want to cut your paper first, and then you'd know exactly how big it is. That's close enough, I think. A friend like you brings me happiness. Because I only have a little bit of space to attach that to each side, I'm going to use my tear and tape again because it's very thin, about 1/4 of an inch on each side. Hopefully not getting any extra ink on it again. And then I'll show you that this actually fits into this envelope. Tuck your extra adhesive under if you've got extra. And if you want to bring out some of the branches over the top of your words, you can do that too. All right, so there is our very simple card. It will fold flat. You can write on the back. Then you can stick it into your envelope just like this perfectly. And look at that. You're ready to go. Then when they open it up, ta-da! Now you can feel free to embellish this in any way you'd like to if you want to add a little bit of bling. But I think I kind of like it just the way it is. Or I may do a little something right here. We'll see what I've got. All right, all of this will be on my website, Creative Juice by Lonnie, today, with the links to all of these supplies that we've used. Let me view over here into the light. I had to keep my windows closed because the sun is shining through. So you kind of see how that gives you just a little, I don't know, shadow box feeling, right? A friend like you brings me happiness. So cute. Thanks for joining me here today, and I'll be live with you again next Monday. Thanks for your comments and sharing this as well. Happy stamping.